Welcome to Duck Club Tuning and Finding the Sweet Spot. Grab a cup of coffee and like and subscribe. And welcome back to Duck Club Tuning, Finding the Sweet Spot. I've got the Mega 7. The Mega 7 by Hisenior. So any of you who follow my channel know I've been traveling through Asia for the last 3 weeks. I've just come back, a little bit jet lagged, but I pushed myself to rush this one through because I think it's really important. It's been waiting for me for over a week. Gareth from Hisenior sent this to me. I'm very familiar with their previous versions of their IEMs, like the Okavango and the Kino Crystallis and I've got a couple of them here, the OG to this one, which is the Mega5EST, and then the Mega5EST base. And this one is the best one yet. I really like the Mega 7, and it's a departure from what they did previously. So the Mega5EST was a tribrid using ESTs, and what Hisenior have tried to do here is instead use one dynamic driver and 6 BAs. And we're going to get into the specs a little bit more, but I think it's important to understand that this is a hybrid that is achieving a better result than the predecessor tribrid. And I'm really keen to see where they go next. And I know this took them over a year to develop. I was actually part of the development in just full disclosure, in that they did send me a prototype to ask me for comments and feedback. And this is better than the prototype. Can absolutely assure you that they took the feedback from the industry and they went in and they absolutely, their engineers worked really hard to make this an absolute banger. So with that, but is it the best under 500? And I know a lot of people like the Zen's Manger Top Pro, and I'm going to give a comparison at the end against the Top Pro because it seems to be a very competitive IEM in that under $500. I think it's like $449. This is $449 for sure. So this is $449. It's just been released, and we're going to really give you a deep dive into what this is because like I said, it's a banger, and it comes with some great accessories, and it has great sound. So with that, let's get stuck into what you get in the box. And I did an unboxing video, so you've already got that, but you get these beautiful black shells, and I actually have a Hisenior stand. Gareth, about a year ago, was nice enough to send me one of these stands when I was doing some prototype work for them on this, and there it is. So I'll put this up a little bit so you can see the shells, and we're going to do a little bit of a tour around it with the video as well. But the shells are gorgeous. When you get in on them, the video is not going to do it justice, but when the light hits it, they sparkle quite a bit. But they're sort of understated because they're all black, but they do sparkle. And they have that Feel the Beauty of Sound FB that's on them. That triangle logo that they use on their IEMs. They also did this on the Base Plus version. You can see that on the Base Plus as well. It comes with a beautiful cable. The cable is, we're going to talk a little bit about the cable as well. I know HPB saw this and said, wow, this cable is something that you'd see on a really expensive set. I think so too. The hardware that they put on this cable is outstanding. It comes with a leather puck, so the image doesn't show the puck. There it is. This is also the same puck, and it's got a strap as well. I showed this in the unboxing video. And I believe Gareth told me that, when I first got one of these pucks, again, over a year ago, that these are made out of lambskin. It's actually quite soft, and it is leather. So it is a leather puck. And then one of the other things that I didn't put in the picture, I forgot to put this in there, 3.5 to 4.4 conversion, because the cable is not modular. It is either 3.5 or 4.4. I would highly recommend you get the 4.4 and just use the adapter if you want to drop it down to 3.5. But I think the 4.4, the plug, looks absolutely spectacular. Especially with that little orca symbol on it. But we'll show you that a little bit further on. And then it comes with 14 sets of tips. And I kept the tips out because they've really gone premium here, where they've got this 1 and 2. And I usually use my Divinus Velvets when I'm doing my testing. And I thought, wow, these tips have that texture to them, just like the tips that I got with the CP622B. It's sort of a velvety feel to it. And I thought, oh, these are going to be the tips I'm going to wind up going with when I do my testing. Turns out, no. So I listened to it with these, and I actually like it with the number 2s. And the number 2 set actually has a hard core that red core is a little bit more firm and holds the shape a little bit better. And I thought it was a little bit narrower, and it gave it a little bit more bass. And I thought it might take away from the soundstage, but it did not. So I wound up using the red core tips, and I thought that they sounded the closest to my Divinus Velvets, and I kept those on the IEM when I was doing my testing. I tried it with the Divinus Velvets first, and then I came over to these. So these, you can use the stock tips that come with this, and I like the number 2s. Now, the difference between these, on the case itself, it says balance, and the number 1s, and on the number 2s, it says smooth. So I think that's correct, because smooth sort of gives it a more, let's say, a richer sound, more like what I get when I use my Divinus Velvet tips. These tips are excellent. You know, it comes with filters. You can see the filters are right there. It's got replacement filters to go over it. If you get a little bit of airwax in there, you can peel them off and put some new ones on. It comes with some foam tips. I never use the foam tips. It comes with a cleaning cloth. It comes with a clip if you like clipping your cable onto your shirt. Warranty card, quality inspection card. It comes with this diagram. It's quite a beautiful diagram. I guess that's why they included it. So the sketch of the IEM. And a nice premium box. The unboxing experience is quite nice for this unit. And now let's look at the specifications for the Mega7. It's a 7-driver set, 1 DD, 6 BAs. Again, it's a hybrid. They came up with a new 10mm dynamic driver. Apparently it's a dual cavity biocellular dynamic driver. And they used Sonian and Knowles BAs, and they've called them out just here. You can see that they're using 4, I believe, Sonian BAs and 2 Knowles BAs, and then they're using a 4-way crossover, and that allows them to control the different frequency zones when they're tuning this more accurately when they have four crossovers built into this. And then it has a pressure relief system, and then it has an impedance of 21 ohms, so it's not that hard to drive, but it's not going to have any white noise from low impedance either. Sensitivity of 103 dB. It comes with a 1-year warranty, and it comes with this beautiful Orca cable, which is a 4-core copper Litz cable. Really, really premium cable. We're going to look at this a little bit more closely, but now you know. All branded drivers, and they've done a really good job of utilizing these drivers to extend the upper frequency range. Now let's give you a little bit of a tour around the IEM. You can see just how, I mean, when you blow this up and you look at it all around, just how beautiful these shells really are. They do sort of glisten on the faceplates from the glitter that's in, off of the black, and the cable allows them to really come alive as well, because the cable is this licorice black color. Really a stunning set that they've made here. Gareth and the team, they don't like to make things too bling bling, although they do customs, and they will make it as bling as you want, but they sort of, on their standard sets, they don't overstate them, just like they did on the Mega5EST, where it was the blue with the glitter and then the black and red for the base version of that IEM. Let's talk about the Orca cable. And I'm going to take the cable off of the stand just here. Let's uncoil this. Take this off so everyone can see it. Put the stand off to the side. What I want you to see is the hardware. You can see the Y-split says Hisenior audio on it, and then the chin slider, just like in the unboxing, is such a perfect fit that it's easy to slide, but there's no way it can fall down. I think this is done really, really well. When you sit it all the way against the Y-split, it matches the curve, that curve that's there. Really, really premium. Nice job on this. The plug, you can see the plug has sort of a swirl mark in it. It is squared off. It's a rectangular shape, but it's squared all the way around. And then it has a symbol of an orca on it, and they call this the Orca cable. When you look at how these mount onto the ear hooks, very good ear hook shape. I like how it bends in right here so that it tucks into your ear very well. It uses a 2-pin. The 2-pin is recessed, but it's flush on the IEM. Push that in. And it's a much better fit than the original white whale cables. Those are white whale cables that are on the Mega5EST and the Base Plus version. I think this cable is actually much better. It sits really flat. You can see how it lays. Just a really, really good cable. People would pay as much as this IEM costs just to have a cable like this. I think they've done an excellent job. And let's coil this up and put it on its case just here. And you see it just sits. It doesn't move around. It's a really good cable. Picture's a little bit blurry, I apologize, but it does give you an idea. The shell is exactly the same as the Mega5EST. The shell, the Mega5EST isn't known for being small. It's a chunky boy. So if you have small ears, you should try this out beforehand. If you're familiar with the Mega5EST, it is exactly the same shape. You can see it's got the same profile at the front. It's got the same side profile. It's pretty much got the same nozzle. Looks like the nozzle might extend just a hair more. Overall, it's pretty much the same size. This is the graph. The difference between this and the Mega5EST, I didn't do an overlay on this, but it is quite different. What they've done here, if you see the W here, this is like a meta tune, if you will. The way that this humps up and the way that it tucks here all the way down at about 140, 150, where it glides from the bass region into the lower mids. And then the treble extension is actually quite good, all the way out to 15K. And the bass is about equal with the treble peak here at about 3K. All in all, just a really, really good tuning. This showed when I had to listen between the stock tuning and the tuning after PEQ. And we'll get into that a little bit further on, but this is the PEQ that I actually came up with. I actually brought the bass a little bit further out and glided it in just between, let's say, 180 and 200, the transition here into the lower mids. And then my Pina gain was ever so slightly later, and then my treble extension was pretty much the same except at the very high frequencies. But I did give it a little bit more sparkle out here, all the way out to 10K. And I did give it about a 3 dB bump in the bass region, all the way from the sub bass all the way through to the lower mids. So that's the tuning. And I'm a bass head. Anyone who, let's say, is a treble head will like this set. If you are a bass head, you will still like this set, and you will like it more with PEQ. Just a disclaimer, it is incredibly neutral, and we're going to get into that in the next graph. So here's where I do my 30 song listen, and I use a PEQ array that I've made. I've made 35 PEQs, and I listen to 30 songs, and I pick the PEQ that sounds best for it. I can tell you this IEM had the easiest pick of a PEQ setting, and that was a bass 2 neutral, and it started at bass 1 neutral. Again, it's incredibly neutral out of the box. It only moved up one bass elevation in my tuning, and just about every song, probably about 28 songs in total, or 27, were at that same single setting. So this is one and done. I was able to find a really good setting. I did do some fine tweaking on it. I brought the bass down a little bit. I brought the treble up just slightly. But I can tell you right now, it was really easy to tune this IEM because it is such a good sounding IEM out of the box. Let's talk about how it scored before and after PEQ. So the blue line here is before PEQ. The orange line going around is after PEQ. It scored a 9.46 out of 10 out of the box, which puts it into the lowest of the low S tier. It made it into S tier out of the box, and this is $449. The hobby just keeps getting better. And this is mostly due to its performance in its mids, its treble, its sound stage, its detail, its layering, and its sibilance. It just had no sibilance. It is just beautifully tuned out of the box. This has less bass than the Mega5EST, and certainly less than the Mega5EST bass version, but it has better mids, better treble, better sound stage, layering, and detail out of the box. How did it do after PEQ? And that's the orange line again. It became more rounded. I added more bass to it, and it rose to a 9.68 out of 10, putting it into the mid S tier for $449. Anyway, really good, really good. Well done, Hisenior. More rounded performance, and it improved the bass mostly. So you can see here, that's the gap right there that improved the bass. It improved the slam and the note weight. These are related to bass as well. But everything, just about everything went up. But really the sub bass went up the most, then the bass and the bass feel, and then the slam and the note weight. And then you had slight elevations in the lower mids, upper mids, lower treble, upper treble, soundstage detail, layering. Masking and sibilance remain the same because they were perfect, again, out of the box. This is a tell because I send a lot of my PEQs out for the Zen's Magard T Pro. This was such a popular IEM, but where it was lacking was in the bass region again. And a lot of people have asked for my PEQ. I probably get like 4 or 5 requests for the PEQ for this every day. because when you add PEQ to it, it elevates the bass region and really it makes this a great IEM. It actually goes into the lower S tier, but this started out in the A tier. I thought this was A tier. That's the same price as this. This is S tier, lower S tier out of the box, and it's better by 0.14 after PEQ. I think this is the better buy. And for several reasons. We'll get into that at the end of this video, but for several reasons, this is the better pick right now. And I know it's 11/11. People out there, I'm going to get this video posted as quick as I can. Sorry, Gareth, I didn't get this out as quick as I could have because I've been in Asia touring. But man, it was important to get this out because this really is a great IEM, and people need to know that when you're making your buying choices that you can do better with your money on the Mega7. So here are its strengths, and this is the bar graph. Again, the blue is before PEQ, the orange is after PEQ. It has really good strengths in the lower mids all the way out to the layering on my list, as well as the sibilance is its super strength because it has none, and then it has great timbre, tonality, and texture out of the box. I wouldn't call these weaknesses because it's still ranking at about 9.2 on the sub bass, the bass feel, as well as the note weight and the slam. The PEQ that I came up with actually leveled this out quite a bit, and it's still, the superstars in this are everything from the lower mids all the way up to the upper treble, the soundstage's detail and the layering, as well as the tonality and the texture and the timbre, and the bass region was elevated. Really took to PEQ like a hobo on a ham sandwich, actually. So the Mega7, I'm going to give this the highest rating. So this gets the highest rating because it deserves it. It's going to take first place in anything under $500. So if you've got $500 to spend during 11/11, this should be your set because, and here's another reason why, because it comes with this great cable. It comes with 2 sets of excellent tips. It comes with an adapter plug. It comes with a wonderful case. It comes with a cleaning cloth. It comes with a clip. It comes with filters. Just the accessories are just phenomenal. Value for money. This is the set for under $500. And with that, we're growing the channel. Please like and subscribe. Send me an email if you are after the PEQ for this or any of the other IEMs that I have done to duckbloke916@gmail.com, and I will send you the PEQs that I have. With that, Duckbloke out.